Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool and today the Ethereum communities. My name is Wack. Today is July 2nd, and today's episode is going to cover getting onto on-chain voting with Rocket Pool. Flat Money have a new educational series. We're going to be talking about staking from home, and we're going to be talking about a project, the 2077 Collective, and a whole lot more. So let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
So in yesterday's episode, I mentioned that Langer's released this article, from the team about protocol DAO governance, and I kind of skimmed it a little bit because yesterday's episode was just so jam-packed, which is really funny because this is like some of the biggest news out of Houston, right? Like the on-chain voting. So yeah, I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of just go back to this article, have a quick look at it, and kind of explain what's going on with the on-chain voting. So the TLDR here is that the current snapshot address is being deprecated. Node operators will need to initialize their voting power, set up their PDAO signaling address and their delegate if delegating to another node operator, and initially PDAO on-chain voting will be disabled until enough power is initialized. So the article kind of explains where we are today and about how, Rocket Pool has grown significantly and everything is going pretty well, but in phase 0 the snapshot voting was set up and it let the PDAO show its intent, but the on-chain voting was always the way that would go forward. So then the article kind of explains how governance will work going forwards. So it says Houston introduces an innovative on-chain governance framework in empowering the PDAO to shape Rocket Pool directly by directly voting on key decisions such as protocol settings, treasury allocations, and security council appointments. So where this will work is there'll be the smart node here. So this is pre-Houston voting, right? You had a smart node, they're delegated to a snapshot address, and then you went and voted on snapshot. So it says going forward, the snapshot will still be used on most aspects of Rocket Pool because it's gas-free, but then there's things that will be on-chain. So here, for example, if you have a look at the smart node, then this is what it's going to look like when on-chain voting is disabled. So you have the smart node, and then node snapshot address that's going to be deprecated, and that's going to go to the snapshot. And then for the signaling vote, you'll have a PDAO signaling address, and delegate may vote to delegate, and there's an optional there. And then with the post-Houston, when the voting is enabled, the way it'll work is the smart node will have a PDAO signaling address and a node address, and they can go onto snapshot, and then there can be vote on behalf, and then there'll be an on-chain voting as well. So now the key thing is, how do you initialize your voting power? Well, in your smart node, you can do Rocket Pool PDAO initialize voting, and that's initialized with a Z, not with an S. What a shame. Anyway, there's information here about if you're delegating your voting power, please note that you'll need to find your delegate's address on the delegate's website. And the delegate's website has now been updated with all the people's addresses. It says, firstly, start by connecting your new signaling address to the Rocket Pool website using MetaMask. It says, don't use your node's private keys onto a hot wallet. Please choose another account for the purpose of snapshot voting. And then it says, the website will ask you to sign a message saying that your node's address can delegate to the new signaling address, and signing won't cost any gas. After you sign, the front end will give you a command to paste into the smart node. Go ahead and paste it into your node's command line interface and follow the prompted steps. The command should look like this, and then there's a signature, etc. that you can do, and then you can delegate the vote as well. So I am a delegate, so like you will find me on the delegate page, and previously I was one of the more powerful people that had voting delegated to them. Right now I'm not sure where I stand under the new system at the moment, but yeah, if you want to delegate your vote to me, again, you're welcome to do that. And yeah, it says currently I have 0 node power. I actually need to set up my voting myself. So yeah, if you want to delegate your vote to me, you're welcome to do that. I'd be happy to receive your voting, and I'll do my best to be a good steward of your vote. So definitely keep that in mind when you're doing this process. And you can find my address, like I said, on the delegates website. So it is right above my name where it says back rocket fuel, and then my address is there, so you can use that address if you want. Okay, and then that's fine for people who have the smart node, but what about if you are a non-smart node user? Well, here Valdorf was kind enough to write this guide. He says voting setup guide for non-smart node users. It says your node address should be loaded onto a hardware wallet. For this, don't use a hot wallet. It says use Etherscan to initialize vote power, connect to Web3 with node address, and it says recommended for node, and then there's an address and the contract that you can do. Then you can find your delegates who you want to delegate to. It says remember, you'll always be able to override your delegate, so there's not as much pressure in the delegate stage here. And then it says initialize voting with your own node as the delegate, and then there's a address that you can go to. And then here Val explains you'll be responsible for voting every time. Note that you can choose a delegate and override when you disagree. This will save you gas. I would mostly suggest this option for folks that wish to be delegates, since they do need to vote every time. And if your node was registered after Houston, you will already have your vote power initialized with your own node as a delegate. You can set a new delegate with this. So then there's an address you can go to, and it says set snapshot signaling address, and then you can go to the Rocket Pool website there to do that. It says put in your desired snapshot signaling address and sign the message. Put your snapshot signaling address must not be your node address, and then copy the text editor to break it down. This is by way of example, let's use the website provided, and then there's an address there. It says the first 0x argument is the signer, second 0x argument needs to be broken up, ignore the initial 0x, blah blah blah, and then there's all the information that you need. You can follow that information. So this is a really, really cool guide that Val made that will help people who are on all nodes set up their voting the way that they're happy with that. So thank you so much, Val, for putting this together. It's really, really great guide. Now, I've not used this guide because I'm not on all nodes, but if you are on all nodes, then definitely go and have a look at this to get your voting set up. And like I was saying, you're welcome to delegate your voting to me or to anyone else who you think is suitable for that. Okay, Flat Money here, we have a new post from them. They're doing the educational series. So they said Summer Rocket Pool on Base educational series. It says today we're highlighting Morpho Blue and Metamorpho and their place within the RETH ecosystem on Base. So let's dive in. So here they give information about Morpho Blue and how it works as a permissionless lending protocol. And then they talk about Moonwell's flagship ETH and Moonwell flagship USDC. Metamorpho vaults accept RETH as collateral, so you can use that there. And it says the RETH wrapped ETH Morpho Blue market uses higher LTV than other base lending protocols, but the higher LTV comes with a higher than average interest rate as well. So definitely keep that in mind. And then the RETH USDC Morpho Blue also offers higher LTV, that's loan to value for borrowing. However, interest rates in this market are some of the lowest for USDC on Base and other markets on other L2s. So definitely keep that in mind if you want to do some borrowing. And then they said these Morpho markets offer another option for Rocket Pool users to borrow against the RETH. And then that's this week's document. But Flat Money have also been putting out other posts about RETH. It says we've added another round of incentives for the SAMM wrapped ETH RETH basic stable pool on Aerodrome, and it says Aerodrome VE Aero voters who vote for this pool can earn 110% APR in incentives during the current epoch. This will continue to provide incentives to boost RETH liquidity on Base. So they are doing some really, really big rewards if you match all their criteria. And then over here, there's some more information as well about how RETH is growing on Base. So this is in the last week, we've seen 80 RETH bridge to Base, up by 3% since last week. It says RETH yields are high on Base. Have you bridged to Base yet, Anon? Take advantage of our RETH bridging rebate program this summer. Learn more. So of course, with flat money, if you send over your RETH from mainnet to Base, you will get a refund of your gas fees in the form of RPL tokens. So you can go to flat money and fill out a form telling them that you have bridged, and then they will give you RPL in return. So yeah, it looks like RETH is slowly but surely growing on Base, which is exactly what we want to see. That we want to make a really strong foundation for RETH on Base, and the fact that flat money are doing work to try to make this happen is actually really cool. We're going to be talking about Base a little bit later as well, so it just kind of points to why RETH on Base is such a good idea for everyone involved. Okay, next we got this tweet from, so this is general staking news now, and we got this tweet from Casper here saying, introducing Issuance.wtf, a collection of resources on Ethereum's current issuance discussions. I'll try to keep it up to date, but please point out missing resources or DM with questions, comments, and requests. Jasper already had an idea saying, you should add this piece, and they said it's already there in the MISC section, and then Jasper said, my bad, I saw the tweet thread and glanced over it. But if you have a look at the Issuance.wtf website, they said this document aims to collect resources relevant to Ethereum's current issuance discussion, and then this page is kept up to date by Casper, not Jasper. And then here with the introduction, it says Ethereum's issuance policy is effective at ensuring minimal level of staking and thereby economically guaranteeing reasonable security. However, the current issuance policy has effectively no control over the upper limit of stake participation. A too high staking ratio, staked ETH over total ETH, comes with downsides that need to be considered carefully. For this reason, proposals to change Ethereum's issuance policy were put forward and are currently being discussed. The goal of this document is to collect resources such as write-ups, talks, podcasts, etc., relevant to Ethereum's current issuance discussions. And the highlights says this section is subjective. Please take a look at the following sections for a more exhaustive and unopinionated list of resources. And for an overview on the current issuance debate, the following resources are a good starting point in rough order of suggested consumption. So this is, there's posts here and talks, and I think there's even like podcast episodes, like Uncommon Core episodes, and then there's high level information like such as Bankless episodes, Epicenter episode as well, and then there's the exhaustive list here where there's like there's a mind blown factor, and some of these are like 2 mind blown, some of them are 3 mind blown, some are 1 mind blown. But yeah, this had like the main people who are involved in some of these writings right now, like Ansgar and Casper, Anders, Mike, Julian, and then there's a whole bunch of different podcast episodes as well, such as Infinite Jungle, Uncommon Core, like I mentioned, and then there's a miscellaneous section with people other than those like main contributors kind of writing information here, and here there's some more podcast clips as well. So if you are interested in becoming a worldwide expert on the issuance discussion, then go and read all these materials and listen to all these materials, and soon you'll be an expert too. So that's really awesome. Okay, next we're going to be talking about staking from home for a minute, and just to remind everyone that staking from home is absolutely essential to Ethereum, and the reason for that is because we want everyone to be able to verify the Ethereum blockchain, and that starts with running a full node at home, and then running validators on top of that adds to things like censorship resistance. It adds to things like credible neutrality, and staking from home is like one of the founding, like everyone being able to participate in Ethereum consensus is of course one of the fundamental principles of Ethereum. So to this end, like Hayden Adams put out a tweet saying, does anyone run a more vibey solo staker for Ethereum than Uniswap? And then there's a picture of a tower with like cool neon lights and all sorts of really fun things going on. And of course, this looks like a cool machine to be running your stake on, but here, Confu.eth shared their NUC. It's just a picture of a NUC. It's boring. It's a rectangular prism, black plastic with some shiny sides, but it's nothing like, fancy. But this is a perfectly acceptable way to stake your ETH. I use a NUC personally myself, and it's a pretty solid piece of hardware. So just as you can run it on this fancy machine from Hayden Adams and Uniswap, you can just run it on a dull plastic piece on the NUC as well, like Confu.eth. And one interesting thing is that a NUC is actually quite overpowered for some of them, like the i7s or whatever, the newer ones. You can even run it on like a bare bones exposed Rock 5B if you so prefer to do that. And then Nixo shared her setup as well. She's saying, here's my setup. It's specifically designed so that people living in the house don't have to mess with it at all, since they were nice enough friends to let a nomad drop off a computer on their network. So she kind of shares a picture of how there's a backup electrical generator in the bottom right plugged in, and then there's a Wi-Fi controlled power strip, and then after that there's a hidden PC and a modem router as well. So, and it's hidden in a bookcase with stuffed animals. So this just shows you, right, like that you can stake from home in a way that works for you. And I think a whole lot more people should stake from home, and Rocket Pool, like under the new tokenomics in Saturn 1, will be reducing the amount of collateral that you need to bring down to 4 ETH, which will make staking with Rocket Pool and staking from home even more accessible. And then going forwards, of course, for your further validators, it'll be down to 1.5 ETH later, but that first validator is likely to stay at 4 ETH for the foreseeable future. So this was actually really, really cool stuff. And, we're hoping that more and more people come online and become node operators from home, whether that's with Rocket Pool or other services as well. Okay, moving on to some Ethereum news now. We've got some really cool news coming out of the 2077 collective, and these guys are calling themselves Ethereum's unofficial marketing department, and their TLDR is 2077 is a collective of is a group of community-driven and passionate Ethernauts who believe that crypto has the potential to give people across the world unprecedented levels of freedom and autonomy. Our mission is to spread the Ethereum adoption because we dream of a world where everyone has individual sovereignty, economic freedom, and ownership of the infrastructure that supports them. Then here they kind of go on to show what their purpose is and some of the websites that they've created and information about how you can contribute and support 2077, and that's with writers, research, devs, design, marketers, video creators. So I guess I'm supporting 2077 Collective right now by giving them a boost here. And then they also will accept grants and donations from individuals or projects. I guess you'll start seeing 2077 coming up in Gitcoin rounds, etc. And of course, if you want to connect, Emmanuel our Seeker is one of the founders, and then there's also CFA as well, who you can reach out to. But this is actually really cool. I think they're going to be dropping dope memes as well coming up soon. But if you go to their Discord, they've got information here about the different websites that they've launched. So there's 4 of them. Actually, there's the main website. Then they have an EIP wiki. They have a Research 2077 page and an Etherpedia. So if we have a quick look, here is their 2077.xyz page, and it says, we're the 2077 Collective. We believe crypto has the potential to give people across the world unimaginable levels of freedom and autonomy, and then where everyone has sovereignty. And our mission is to accelerate Ethereum adoption, because for this vision to materialize, crypto must be built on the truly decentralized and permissionless base layer. So here they said that, one of Ethereum's big problems is there's lack of marketing, and there's a visible narrative vacuum, and people focus on the wrong kind of things. And now these guys are trying to work on making Ethereum cool again and solving ETH's marketing problems. And the way they want to do that is by filling the gaps that are there, control the narrative, correct the focus, and promote the ecosystem. And they've got a whole lot of stuff going on. And they've also got some supporters. So there's a bunch of people mentioned here like Aspire Labs, Eigenlayer, Starknet, Mega ETH, A, B, C, D, E, and a whole bunch of others. So sorry if I didn't mention your name, but yeah, they want to make Ethereum cool again, and I am all about that. So really good stuff here. And then they've got their wiki here. You can start exploring different EIPs. And let's see if you put in 1559, see what comes up here. So execution layer upgrades, it tells you what is happening with the fee markets, etc. You can see all the different EIPs. And then it links you to the ethereum.org website where you can get information as well. So this is a nice place for you to go get some of that information. With their research, you can see like the state of rollups. You can see about like stablecoin reports and a whole bunch of other pieces of research. I think they're going to be expanding this very frequently. So this is actually really cool. And next they have Etherpedia. So if you want to learn about different topics of Ethereum, you can go and have a look here. So they've got a bunch of things that went online yesterday, written all of them by Alex Hook. So for example, if you want to read about Merkle trees that are on the roadmap, here they've got explanation of what Merkle trees are, and then what Merkle trees will be, and what needs to happen to get that to be successful, and really good information here as well. So this I think is going to be a really great resource or set of resources for the Ethereum community as a whole. I'm also excited to see the memes that come out of this, and some of the great discussions I think will be happening on crypto Twitter and other places about this. So I'm definitely really excited to see what comes out of the 2077 collective. Okay, talking about layer 2s here for a second, Base has been on an absolute tear recently. Like since Denkun went live, Base has been like pushing the limits of what layer 2s are doing right now. And here we see that we have hitting new milestones of 20 million weekly transactions, and 2 million weekly active wallets. And that's for the past 3 weeks straight. It's been breaking records in terms of active wallets and transactions on Base. So this is huge, like really cool that's coming out of Base, and other layer 2s as well that we're going to be talking about in a second. But if we have a look over here, Nick says that Base will be the main hub for breakout crypto consumer apps. The thesis is simple. Exchanges are the primary on-ramp for consumers. Coinbase is the leading exchange and will direct hundreds of millions of people to Base. Just look at Binance Smart Chain in the last bull cycle. The apps on Binance Chain weren't great, but the chain still grew to be massive because Binance directed all exchange users there. Imagine the network effect when Coinbase directs users to a chain that actually has great apps. Of course, they'll be bringing over their Ethereum apps to Base. And says the best crypto devs who want to build high throughput, low cost consumer apps are building on Base. The culture of Base lends itself to mass market. There's no native token, so it's not overly shilly. No one is recruiting celebs to drop meme coin drugs, and there's a rich culture of memes and art beyond just making money that outsiders are drawn to. So I think this is going to get bigger in the next 6 months to 1 year. And as you can see, that comparison with a BNB Smart Chain, the amount of market share that Base transactions have been growing, and that's come at the cost of Binance Smart Chain. Now, just looking at this, I'm not sure if it's significant, but at first glance, it definitely looks like there's an amount of pie of these exchange chains, and it looks like the Base is eating into Binance Smart Chain, and I really hope that it starts eating into things like Solana as well, which is what I expect to see in the next 6 to 12 months. And of course, other layer 2s and rollups like Arbitrum and Optimism, and others as well, like ZK Sync. I think they're going to be doing some really cool stuff and growing quite strongly as well in the coming months. Now, just to show you how much activity has grown one more time, I love showing this chart, you'll see that, let me actually change the picture so you can see it. Actually, that doesn't help. Yeah, my face is kind of blocking the picture, but currently layer 2s are scaling Ethereum by a 20x factor. I recently went up to 21x, I think, or yeah, around that much, which is absolutely incredible. And that's over the last 7 days. And Base right now is if we have a look at rollups only, Base is the biggest ahead of Arbitrum 1 in terms of transactions, and it's just showing huge strength. So there's some really cool stuff happening here, and I'm excited to see how that keeps going. Okay, next we have I'm going to talk about Pendle for a second, and this is where you might accuse me of some co-op, where you have to remember that this is a Rocket Pool channel. So Pendle has seen their total value locked go down by 40% in the last week, and since Wednesday, users have withdrawn nearly $3 billion from Pendle, and the large-scale withdrawal reflects the users' waning interest in restaking airdrops, and Renzo Points program is about to end in July. So what's happening here is that people are getting kind of sick and tired of these airdrops, like Ether 5 Season 2 was done, and people are just kind of like losing interest. They feel like, you know, they lock up their crypto for a long time, and the rewards that they get for them are not that good. So they just don't care anymore. But also, you know, this cycle is kind of coming to an end, right? Like we saw that Eigenlayer had their airdrop, and next we saw that EtherFi has had their airdrop. You know, Swell will be getting their airdrop any day now. It looks like Renzo's program is coming to an end as well. So a lot of the restaking stuff that people had aped into, it looks like that's coming closer to like its end now. And the core part comes in with this idea that hopefully some of this will come back to Rocket Pool. Now, the problem with Rocket Pool is currently we don't have the capacity to accept people's RETH minting. Like the deposit pool is full, and we don't really have those whale marriages that, you know, we're hoping will start soon. They haven't started yet, so we're not in a position where we can accept liquidity coming back to like TVL coming back to RETH. But I'm hoping that in the coming days, once, you know, these LRTs, people start leaving them, hopefully they'll start coming back to LSTs like RETH. But like I said, that might be a little bit of a cope view from me. Okay, in other news here, we had some interesting ideas coming out of Vitalik, and he put out this tweet saying, prediction markets and community notes are becoming the two flagship social epistemic technologies of the 2020s, both truth-seeking and democratic, built around open public participation rather than pre-selected elites. I want to see many more things like this. Now, I'm going to talk about community notes for a quick second, and then I'm going to talk about prediction markets. So with community notes, that's a feature on Twitter where if someone makes a statement, a tweet, and, you know, it gains traction, but there's parts of it or all of it are a lie, people can set up community notes about that and kind of correct it. So like right underneath that, you'll see that actually, you know, while this person sent out this tweet, this is the truth, or this is the correct information, or this is how this person is being misleading. And you even see on ads and all sorts of other places. One of the features that I think people have really enjoyed about Twitter over the last few months. And the second thing is prediction markets. Now, the main thing that we see with prediction markets is Polymarket, and Polymarket is a place where you can gamble, like on outcomes of events. And what's happening is you can say that you expect an event to go one way or another. Now, Polymarket is an app that is absolutely exploding in use. Over the last few months, it's just grown incredibly strongly, and I think it's going to be one of the breakout apps in this crypto cycle, with others like it probably coming online as well. But if you have a look at gambling, like it's a multi-billion-dollar worldwide market, and it's ripe for you know, disruption and capture, basically. And if Polymarket can build a better version of that, then they're going to take over it, basically, and that could be billions of dollars that's coming online and coming into the Ethereum ecosystem. So here Polymarket say, we're building the internet's truth machine. Vitalik says, I actually think prediction markets are very complementary to community notes. The single biggest criticism of community notes is that notes appear too slowly. Prediction markets are all about incentivizing people to predict signals that will become available later and reveal them as fast as possible. So yeah, it's really interesting that Vitalik's highlighting these two things. And with prediction markets, of course, that's the Polymarkets on Ethereum. So it's pretty cool. Okay, I'm going to finish this episode today with news coming out of the EU, and it's of Circle becoming the first global stablecoin issuer to obtain electronic money institution license under the EU's new MiCA crypto law. So this was, you know, a law that passed and came into effect a couple of days ago about stablecoin legislation and regulation in the EU, and now Circle are making moves with taking big steps forward there for regulation. So this kind of ties into that base thesis. This ties into that Coinbase thesis that a whole lot of people are going to come into crypto through Coinbase. They're going to go to Base from Coinbase, and they're going to use USDC and I guess their version of the European stablecoin as well on these platforms, and the usage is going to be huge. So I'm going to finish today's episode there. Thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I hope you all have a lovely day ahead. I was going to do the raffle in today's episode, but Cheers, the person who comes up with the raffle data for every month, is on vacation right now, and Cheers let me know that the raffle data will be available this weekend. So I will do the raffle most likely next Monday's episode. The price, of course, got locked in yesterday at 4.98 RPL per raffle winner, and once the raffle is done, I'll get that RPL sent out to you all. But anyway, I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.